By the way, that guy should get an award just for how he fucking acts with his face.
Borgov?
Have you ever seen, like, dude, his performance, most of it nonverbal.
Yeah,
and fucking great.
Yeah.
That guy, like...
He's great. He's another complicated character.
He is. He showed a little humanity at the end.
He's not like... We have like things in sports movies of showing like the Soviets as just like Russian bots.
Yeah,
like of kind of robots.
We fucking live in a country that, you know, Russia puts out propaganda, so do we.
But this guy, he has like a real humanity behind him. He's by no means a bad person. No. And another thing I like
Derek
is like
Jeter
when they're in Mexico City and he has his guards with him, and one of the American guys are like, those guards are there to make sure that he doesn't run away. When like I was thinking at the end when Beth is in the Soviet Union and she has her American guards, like the Soviets were probably saying the same exact thing about her, you know?
Which like kind of was true.
Yeah.
It was like the handler.
But also like Beth doesn't conform to what American culture wants her to be. Borgov wasn't conforming to what Soviet culture wanted him to be.
Yeah, well, they made the Soviets in general very sympathetic people.
Yeah, 100%.
Like even the crowd, like, you know, maybe, you know, they really actually didn't really show any Soviet American. Like,
yeah, I mean, besides...
It wasn't a nationalism thing.
Besides the fact that clearly there was this rivalry, it doesn't get really into like the politics of the 60s too much. You know,
really at all,
or really at all.
That's the one thing it really doesn't touch on. Like, there's like very much at the end, like you very little at the end, I should say, like where her friend from the orphanage is talking about being a radical. Yeah, they don't even really get into that.
They don't really get into it. They don't really. I mean, Vietnam isn't mentioned at all. And you know, while you definitely 100% get the sense that, you know, the Americans and the Soviets, they're rivals. Right. You don't get the sense that these are two countries that were willing to blow each other up.
No.
But also, you know, the show isn't about that.
It's not about that. And that's what I'm saying, too, is like, you know what? Maybe back in the day, I would have been like, oh, they should have shown this, or that. But that could have taken away from...
That could have. And you know what? When I'm talking before of like... it's a more realistic, it's not this nostalgia idea of the 60s like we've seen in other movies. Mm-hmm. Maybe if they had more of the politics of the 60s in there, then it would have felt more like, oh, we're doing a 60s nostalgia thing.
It wasn't a political movie.
And it wasn't, not a political show.
It's a human experience thing.
Yeah,
it's a loss thing. It's a human experience. It's a childhood.
Yeah, it's the obsessive artist. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and it's more about our human emotions and how we react to things.
Right.
That was really like that. That's really what I did like about this show is how emotional it is,
dude.
Of how you really feel for it. You really root for Beth.
Oh, dude, I was audibly, multiple times audibly like, come on. You know, and then like when something bad was going to happen, I was just like, dude, come on, get it together. Like,
well, one is it's just
knowing that it's fiction. Like,
knowing that it's fiction,
that's the power of like when something is really well done.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you know,
knowing that like, looking at like, especially in the early episodes, like what kind of situation she is in, of just like, you are in an orphanage. You have to pretend to kind of be like the all-American schoolgirl in order for somebody to adopt you. You get adopted. The foster father does not care about you. Didn't even really want you to begin with. And the mother is dealing with her own things. And it's just like...
The only character that's really not developed is him.
The father?
because
Yeah.
he's just a dick.
Yeah, he's
Like,
just kind of one note of like, I don't want to be here.
the
I don't
only
want to be in
other
a-
sort of personality aspect that comes in is like when he's trying to take the house from her and she buys him out, and then he's like, all right. Like, that's the one
Yeah.
thing where you're just like, all right, that was the one moment he wasn't a complete and utter dick. He was just resigned.
Yeah.
But he's not, he didn't get enough screen time to really be
No,
fleshed out.
I mean, he's not the most developed character. I don't have.
Neither is the mother.
I don't have such a problem with that.
No, neither do I. I'm just saying, dude, it's such a fucking well done thing. It's like
Yeah.
picking for fucking
Right, exactly.
anything they could have done better.
This was a great
it's really
show.
Not. I wouldn't have even wanted them to add politics to it because,
No, it probably would have ruined it.
or just it would have just been, again, like going back to the whole sex thing, like the way that they did that, I felt like it didn't take away. It felt realistic, the scenarios. Like if they just inserted like a political angle, it might not have really sat well.
Right.
And ultimately that's not what this story was.
No.
Even down to like which we didn't talk about yet, like this being clearly a work of fiction, but still having an emotional reaction to it, like showing the chess pieces, the whole idea of her like
Right.
visualizing the chess pieces. I thought that was something that could have been tacky or silly and just wasn't. It just like worked. It worked in this weird.
My favorite shot of the entire show is she's in the bathroom. She just got her period for the first time, and she's running half. She's really messing up this game. Her first game against Harry. And she kind of runs into the bathroom. She's looking at herself in the mirror, and it kind of zooms up, and you see the chessboard above her.
Yeah, it was cool
it's
how
one of
they did it.
it's one of the great like shots of the entire show of all 7 episodes. Like that's one of my favorite shots in all of it.
Yeah, I like I think the first time we see it when she's a little girl.
Oh,
by
right,
the way, every version of Beth was a very good performance.
Right. Yeah.
Even the toddler.
Yeah.
Even the toddler. Like they
Right.
just like, man, this one, we should wrap this up. But
We
as you can
should.
tell, we enjoyed this one.